Area, downstream of that area is going to be protected by your manual operations. So water was not going to be released faster than what would be a higher risk on the downstream of Houston area. Therefore, a compromise was going to be made to increase the water level. That was going to cause back pressure with the storm drainage, which then started acting as releasing more water into the community as the level starts going. This area, this particular area of all the area identified by the Army Corps map over here is the most impacted. So is this the most low-lying or the most riskiest area in this neighborhood? How do you explain this?
We should move from here.
How do you explain
That's a good question.
How do you explain that all this area that was identified by Army Corps is not flooded nearly to this extent and water has not reached the home except for this, when your own calculation was saying that these all areas are going to be? To me, the maps are not correct. The 70-year maps that have been released are not true. All the residents here have to some extent have been cheated.
Listen, that night we spoke to the judge, okay, and we told him, you breaking our civil rights. We spoke to the judge right there, 6:30 p.m.
Which judge?
Here.
You didn't talk to me.
No,
I'm the county judge.
Who are you?
I am the county judge of Fort Bend County.
Who's County Hebert?
I'm he.
Okay.
You didn't talk to me.
I didn't talk.
So please don't tell these people you did something you didn't do.
I'll bring the guy who spoke to you and told you it's a mandatory. He says the mandatory evacuation, and you're breaking our civil rights.
But I know you're angry, but let's talk about what we've got right now. We can't go back and start the disaster over again. I think let's talk about what exists and what we can do to help you solve your problems. So just don't shout. Just talk to us, okay?
All right, let me speak to that. There is a buyout program from FEMA, but it's for land located within the 100-year floodplain, and that is the technical glitch that you have. You are above the 100-year floodplain, but you are within the over. Please wait.
100 years of change.
Just quiet. Please, pardon me. Let us make some statements. I'm just stating fact. If you were in the 100-year floodplain, there would be the floodway or the floodplain. With an older home, there would be a buyout program. Congress can change that. All right. I don't think anybody in Congress is aware of this situation. I assure you that I am going to engage Congress, the Senate and the House, and tell them this is a special consideration. But that takes time. Now, I've also asked Caroline. We don't have any long-term shelters in Fort Bend County. We don't know that there are long-term shelters available. We're going to see if we can set one up very quick, because we understand with the breadth of this emergency, if we can get a shelter set up, you're not paying hotel. It may not be the slickest accommodations, but it's beds and the shower and the food and those things you need to survive so you can come out here and work on your house. The other thing I want to tell you while we're talking here, to start to recover, you're dealing with FEMA, but you've got a lot of wet carpet, you've got a lot of wet sheetrock, you've got a lot of stuff to get out of the house. You get it out, get it to the curb, we're going to come by and remove it for you and take it away. So don't worry about, my goodness, what I do with all this stuff. It may take us days, because we have thousands of homes flooded in Fort Bend County, up and down the river too, and we have to get around as we can. But we're going to get here. We're going to give you a few days to stack it up, and then the trucks will continue to come, and I can assure you, they'll come through, and if you're not ready, they'll be back in 2 or 3 days. They will continue to circuit through every flooded community until all that debris is removed. That's one thing we can do for you, and the county will do that.
It may be a matter of 5 days before they can get in, so they have every right to be upset.
You drive right over the berm here for the dam. This is the end of the berm for the dam, and yet they didn't realize, I guess, that was to hold back floodwaters.
Yes,
and
sir.
their house is inside of it.
Yes, sir. These homes back here are above the 100-year flood elevation, and that's the federal standard for being protected land. If you're above the 100-year, the unique thing is they're next to the reservoir, and that was noted on their plat and noted on their title report.
They're within the reservoir, right?
No, they're not. They're outside the reservoir. The reservoir ends somewhere down here, but the difference is, a matter of inches. They're in the overflow of the reservoir, which is just as bad if the reservoir leaves its boundaries. But technically, they're out. The federal government wouldn't sell property for houses inside a dam. Technically, they're out. And everything to the right of what we're looking at now holds the 100-year flood. But we had a 10,000-year rain event, and probably they'll figure it out after the fact, but my guess is we had a 150, 200-year flood event on this reservoir.
Judge, several people have said that their homes were sacrificed to save others and to save others' homes. Is that accurate?
Well, if you look at the dam was built in the 40s to hold back stormwater and protect the homes downstream. Had they opened the gates and let that water go, there would have been additional flooding downstream before the dam hit a critical point. So to some extent, they're right, but that's what the dam is designed for. That's the rules of operation. Once it got out back here, they looked at it and made a decision to discharge, and I believe they're discharging 6,300 cubic feet per second, which is a huge discharge of water. It's just, there's water waiting to come in here. So as they go, that's why it's so slow going down. But now they're putting that water on the flooded area. That's one of the reasons between Barker and Addicts. That's the primary reason that Mayor Turner had to say, you need to leave those homes because it's going to be up to a week before the water below the dam starts going down, because they're putting this water out now to relieve these people. So it's a balancing act that nobody, when this reservoir was designed, ever thought this reservoir would have to deal with.
Did you?
Now our river event, as bad as it was that we just had, was below the 100-year flood. We capped out at 55.18. We were told we were going to 59. 56 is the 100-year flood at the Richmond Bridge in the river. But we had 300-year, 400-year events of rain in local areas. We evacuated more people away from the river in developments that where the rain just overwhelmed the drainage system for a period of time. They've already drained, they're back in their houses, the sheetrock is coming to the curb, etc. This problem is, had this been rain driven and the reservoir not been here, they might have flooded from the rain if it backed against this berm, but they'd already be back in their homes. We have to drain the reservoir to let them back in, and that's going to take some time.
What about the evacuations? A lot of people want to get into their house to get their pets or to get things out of it.
I think we have a process which Caroline explained to these folks. On the pets, we have a group here from Texas A&M. They can call our number, we'll get them out. If we got a street address, description of the pet, they'll get in that house, they'll find it. Our animal shelter will take them and house them with the owner's name, and they'll be protected until they can come claim them. And they'll be fed, and we have a vet on duty at our animal shelter, so they'll be treated for any illness they might have or sickness and such as that. So we can take care of the animals if we know, they're there. So we can, and this is the thing, we disseminate all this information as best we can, but people hear bits and pieces of it. And that's why there's a lot of confusion on their part, but they're basically just frustrated about the water in their homes. We have a mandatory evacuation that's moving with the dam. When it drops 12 inches, we move that elevation forward and free up so people can get in. We just don't want people going into 2 or 3 feet of water saturating the area. There's stuff in the water, you can trip over it, you can break your leg on a fire hydrant. We had one young man that was electrocuted in Houston during the flood, waiting in the street, and caught a current from a light pole in the front yard, and it made him fall against the pole and it killed him. That's why we keep them out. We want to take care of life. We'll get to the property, and it's going to be difficult, but we will get, we'll figure out a way, and they will figure out a way to restore their property as best they can, but we can't replace their life, and that's always uppermost. Ma'am, I'm sorry. Okay, let's move to the cars.
Thank you for coming on.
I'm truly sorry.
Thank you, sir.
And we will help you. I will be talking to Congress this afternoon.
I talked to Beth and everyone yesterday.
Okay.
It is good that you at least assure our wording that you are with us.
Well, we weren't going to let you sit out here and not get what information, although we don't have much. At least you know what we know.